¿Qué te diría si Sky Striker acaba de quedar segundo en el famoso formato Pay to Win que hay que tener las Mulcharmis? Y encima lo ha hecho sin jugar Mulcharmis dentro Deck Profile. Cabe destacar que este pavo es jodidamente bueno, es campeón del mundo y es un experto jugando todo lo que juega. Entonces, eso suma puntos, ¿vale? Eso suma puntos.
Any shoutouts?
Yeah, shoutouts to my family. Shoutouts to people who let me borrow cards. So that's Joey, Jesse, and Dom.
Ah, vale, aquí venimos con el deck, vale.
Hey, Impulse.
Convoluted, sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Ah,
not
toda la
actually
intro,
sure
¿no?
who Impulse
Ahí,
is.
vale.
Zero follow-up.
Buen anuncio, bro. Buen anuncio. Hay que patrocinar a la raya, está bien, tío.
Commit like most of their deck and extra deck into the board. But if you Frulos them and then they pass, and then you like set up 2 Widow Anchors or something, they're just gonna kill you next turn because they still have all their resources. So you actually need them to play.
Hostia, que no le parece bueno la Fugaros en Sky Staker. Porque literalmente dice que los robos que vas a hacer son mesas que levantan fácilmente y por eso jugar cartas es skipear un turno. Interesante. Interesante. Sí, 3 rayes una de estas y eso es estándar.
3 engage, 2 linkage, 1 drones.
Mira, la linkage, la mayoría de gente se la había a 3.
2 shark, 1 burner, 1 roll. This is obviously like all standard except maybe like these 3 spells are like obviously it's 3/3/1, and then for these cards, multi-roll is a card that you search when you have to play like a grindy matchup, or if you have enough Sky Striker spells to get this online. It's very good, but it's kind of a brick because it makes you waste a card for an effect.
Me hace gracia como una carta, dependiendo del formato, tío, pasa de ser muy buena a muy mala. Porque literalmente multiroll llegó a estar limitado. Limitado. Ahora está a 3 y te dice, es que esta carta está mal para el formato. Power creep. Puro power creep.
So it's like a pseudo brick. It's not awful to draw, but you just don't need more than 1/2 to grind. If this gets banished by Desires, it's also just not a big deal. It's just in there for searching. 1 burner. I play a lot of other power spells that have higher impact than this, but this is good because there are certain matchups where you need to be able to search back or hate, or like even like some matchups where you need to kill a monster, and this is the best way to do it. But you don't play 2 because it's a bit of a brick, and you also kind of want to maximize how many cards are good going first and second in this deck to build for top cut, because people can make you start when they know what you're playing. And then 2 Shark Cannon was because if this gets banished off Desires, it really sucks. You actually usually need one.
Sí, vaya, ratio este 2 por no retirarlo, ¿no?
Just random uses against everything. Like against Labyrinth, I was using this to banish their grind game. Against Snake Eye, I was stealing Sylvia. Like,
Contra Tenpai se me hace muy buena, tío.
Take it as an Omni Negate. Like a really common interaction was like, you break their board a bit, set up multi-roll, and face Shizuku, and then Shark Cannon, summon Sylvia, reset Shark Cannon. So you like have the Sylvia negate, and then you can Shark Cannon something else like a Princess or a Flamberge. And then 2 linkage, because this is kind of your way to push for damage to end the game, because this deck doesn't really OTK. Like it'll crack the board, but it won't end the game. So it's good to have this to apply pressure. You want to be searching it with Engage or Shizuku to try to end the game faster. That's also really why it's important to play at least 1 Rose, so you can make the linkage go for game. I only actually did the linkage like Ray OTK once in top
Solo ha
8.
hecho TK una vez.
It's like extremely rare that it comes up, especially because it plays into so many hand traps. But it's good to have the option.
Pero esto me
to push for
sorprende,
damage.
porque quiero decir, el campo que deja le ha dicho que no es muy opresivo. Y los mazos de fuego tienen un recovery muy bueno. Muy bueno. Di que la gracia de los Arcanums es que puedes llegar a retirar motor de Fire King, puedes retirar alguna carta limitada, pero lo veo complicado, ¿eh? Los Tempest están revolucionando al meta, totalmente, tío, totalmente.
Finish the spells. 3 thrust.
Ah, esto es muy bueno, tío.
Chance. 3. Just a lot of board breaking spells. Most of this doesn't super need an explanation. Like I wouldn't say it's like standard or not standard because people don't really play this deck. So I kind of just went off a list that I was playing in Master Duel.
Have you still banned in the TCG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So Thrust is broken. This is like one of
Desire
the
is
best.
also a one.
This is one of the best cards in the deck.
Hombre, te añade
because it searches
engage de
engage.
atrás, tío.
And also post side, This card can search the cards that I play in my side deck. So it's just a very good card. Like going first even, it's fine if someone tries to chummy you or shifter you, and then it becomes live. And going second, this is just like another copy of Engage is broken. 2 talents because this card's just very good overall.
Otro robo 2.
But this card like kind of turbo draws through itself. Like you have Engage, you have Upstart, you have Thrust, Talents, Desires. You really
Igual el
don't wanna be,
mayor
like,
counter es
drawing
el
into
troll, tío,
multiples of cards that are dead.
de esta
So that's why
receta.
there's not 3 of these. It's not like the you want to see it sometimes but not all the time. It's actually like a pretty valid thing with the Striker because of how much draw power you have. You need to maximize your odds of drawing live cards, like off your Engages, Rips, because those draws actually matter. And then 3 Desires, 3 Upstart. 3 Upstart was like no complaints. It just sucks when you get drilled, but this deck is pretty weak in a drill, so you kind of just accept that you take the L of that. I would for sure play this. It's good going first, it's good going second. Just your hands that have Engage in them are so much better than the hands that don't, that you just want to play like a 34 card deck.
Se va a
And
reducir
3
cartas por robar
Desires.
más veces
This
Engage.
does suck to draw on multiple. I drew like, not even like Desires into Desires, but just like a raw 3 Desires in my hand like twice. And then like when you count in drawing Desires after I used it off Engage, or like Desiring into Desires, also happened a ton. But even with all that, I would still play 3. Because this card is like one of the best cards to start your turn. It helps you play through Ash.
Es que baiteas,
when you're
magia,
baiting through
robo
negates,
2.
you just
Yo
wanna
soy
have
súper
as
fan de
many
Adesires.
cards that say draw as possible. Because that way if they have an
Para jugar
Ash,
es
it
que,
means
a ver,
that one-
para jugar mazos que interaccionan con cada respuesta del oponente, no es que sea cuestión que para jugar es que este que tengas que saber, ¿cómo se dice? El mazo del oponente. Es que tú cuando juegas cualquier mazo de disrupciones, por no decir cualquier mazo del juego, tienes que saber los mazos del formato. ¿Sabes? 100%. 100%. ¿Cuándo harás directo opinando sobre los mazos de la comunidad? Pues cualquier directo de estos, chavales. Simplemente hay que estar atentos. Puede ser mañana, puede ser pasado.
one more of your cards were resolved. So I would 100% play 3 of this. This deck would not be playable without Desires. Well, it's not actually playable with Desires, but 2 Lightning Storm, Feather Duster. These are really broken because backer hate is super important in this format. Like against pretty much any deck, you will get crazy value if you can hit their back row. This also doubles as monsters. I did that a couple times. But against like the Snake Eye decks, this is really powerful because like it threatens Desiree. So these will always trade with Desiree because you can try to kill the sequence. Like against any actual backer deck, these will just destroy them. They're like honestly just very good in any matchup. It's also huge that these kill Azarun because it's still considered a trap once it's on the field. So that came up several times. 2 Cosmic, 2 Droplet. These are kind of in the same category of cards that I wanted to have in the main deck that help you when they start you going first. Because these can both be
Sí.
set and used as a good disruption when they force you to start.
Son
And they're also
híbridas.
very good going second. Their most like valuable applications are hitting Desiree. So like with Droplet, if you activate a card that they try to negate with Desiree, you Droplet send away that card, so then Desiree can't negate it. It's just also like the common uses for this are still very good. And for Cosmic, you can Cosmic the sequence, and then the Desiree will not negate anything. And that's even better because then the sequence is gone from the game forever. They can't recycle it with Engraver. And then both of these cards are just extremely solid. Like they both have like probably 5 extra applications that I can't like name all of them, but like hitting Nightmare Throne or something, or dodging Imperm on Kagari or something.
No, bueno,
Both
y
of
que
these
la
cards-
droplet tú puedes hacer engage, luego costearte las cartas que necesites y está. Aquí la verdadera pregunta, ¿toda la está prohibida? Está a 3 copias en TCG, chavales.
They're just super broken. But like the Desiree stuff is mainly why these are strong.
¿Y el
right
próximo
now.
año que llega a los 20.000 suscriptores? Hombre,
Con la app de YouTube
100%.
Music puedes crear
No, con YouTube Music no va a llegar a los 20.000 suscriptores. Bueno, igual se me hago cantante, sí.
And then 2
Well,
regular.
see.
Like it's just not 3 because again you really don't want to draw dupes, or like if I already broke the board, I'm not trying to like see another Raigeki off Engage or something. You only really want to see cards once in this deck for the most
No,
part. But
literalmente.
this card's really solid.
Eso pasa
especially
mucho,
against C-Balls,
chavales.
that's
Cuando un
very
mazo no está en el meta, tiene su potencial. Es decir, Ritual Beast, por ejemplo, si la gente jugase Sai de Casaco contra Ritual Beast, Ritual Beast no se jugaría nada. Pero es por eso que hay mazos como Branded, que si tú le haces focus a Branded, Branded tampoco se jugaría casi. Pero sí, sí.
because that deck has more of an issue with like getting Raigeki for all of its monsters. Although Snake Eye actually does too. Like against both these matchups, I would be very happy to draw Raigeki. I don't think I actually ever drew this and had it be bad. It was amazing every time. And then last cards in the main deck are these. This is standard. This is shoutouts to Ray for telling me to play Called By because I forgot to put it in at first. It was amazing every time I drew it. It negates Sylvia, it negates Ash, it negates Droll, it negates Phantom, it negates like all the Fire King cards. It's broken.
Negates Ray.
It does negate Ray. That never happened.
The 10-5 guy that tributes himself negates that.
It does negate Genworker. And then one Imperm. Just because if I played against Tenpai and then they forced me to start and then like shifted me or used one of the Ferocious, I wanted to be able to thrust for an interrupt. And that actually happened. Like I won a game because of that. So it was cool. Just the one's fine. But again, like the reason you're not playing a bunch of hand traps is because you don't want to trade poorly into crossout. Or against like the combo decks, if they can just play through an Imperm and end on the same board, then you've looped yourself for a card that could have been a spell to make the board.
Sí, es como que el mazo que ha preparado, literalmente, él dice, la gente va a preparar estrategias contra la Fugaros, dígase una Trash, dígase el Crossa o dígase cualquier cosa, pues yo no las llevo y todas esas cartas que robe la peña son robos muertos.
Extra deck. 3 Kagari. I don't have... let's see. 2 Shizuku. You only need 2 these days because you're blinding second. And even if they force you to go first, honestly, you only ever need 1 Shizuku to win the game if it resolves. So as long as you switch engage once, you should be fine. 2 Hayate. This is a fine number. Hayate is like good for sending spells, but it's actually more important just for chip damage because it helps you put them in the range where you can OTK them later. It's not that big of a deal that you can't send with this also because I'm siding Impulse, and I probably wouldn't be doing that if I cared more about the send. But I mean, it's just Sky Striker, it's solid. 1 Kana shout outs to Marcus Carice. I didn't have to Kana anyone in time, so you know, like I'm sure people will try to find like a bunch of reasons for like explaining why Sky Striker topped and like to like discredit the deck. But there's no chummies. I didn't scum anyone in time. Like the deck's just not good, but it's like tier 2. So
watch your words. Use your words carefully here, Ryan.
no, I'm being honest, right?
I know, but like, yeah.
Like I was just playing to have fun. So
Yeah.
No, literalmente, el chico dijo que jugó el mazo porque la apetecía que jugar al fan. Yo sobre una Mulchami para Navidad me costó bastante diseñarla. Pobre Gustavo, para ir al segundo sí falta la Fugaros, por eso debía ser común. En este perfil no jugaría. No la jugaría. Coña. Tal y cual lo está explicando, ¿no? Ese planteamiento.
Super standard and striker, especially good against like any deck where you're trying to play a back and forth grind game. Being able to banish one of their cards for a turn is just amazing, and it helps you link stuff off. It helps you bridge links. And then 1 Azalea. I put this in the last card because I didn't know what else to play, and it was actually surprisingly insane. Like I didn't even realize how good this card was until I started playing it. So because my deck
Era el
is 30
sustituto a la
spells,
SP antes de que saliese la
my
salida.
Azalea pretty much never has to destroy itself when I use the on-summon effect. So you can use this to clear 2 bodies a lot of the time, like with both of its effects. And it's extremely convenient to make because lights and darks are so prominent. Like Silhouette Rabbit is a light. All the White Forest cards, just random, like the regular darks.
Acá dice para robar con el
It's actually
gancho.
extremely easy when you're cracking a board to bridge through Azalea at one point for 1 or 2 extra pops. And this also serves the role of like if you have Widow Anchors and Shark Cannons but you bricked, so you have no engine, you can link into Striker Engine with this because Camellia is not out yet.
Qué maravilla, bro. Ya te digo, se me hace una lista que para otro evento ya perdería totalmente la gracia porque la principal gracia de este profile es sorprender.
The big one.
Realmente es sorprender.
Is combined maneuver not in the game?
If no. I would have played Combined Maneuver.
Vale, vamos a ver ahora.
On Master Duel. And
Vale.
the Snake Eye deck, but this doesn't
Sí,
really
SP,
play well.
Ita,
It's like sometimes people play
Dark.
it, but yeah, like a decent amount of my Snake Eye opponents are like Yubel, like they don't
Most
play
of them
Dark.
for sure don't play it.
Yeah.
I didn't play it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Hey, I know what I'm talking about.
Llevarás Selene Access Code, ¿no? No
Yeah,
llevas
but,
Selene.
both these cards are just.
Cards, that's why.
both
Eso me
these cards are
sorprende,
just
tío.
insanely
La
good
Selene
because,
jugando
like,
tanta magia,
when
bueno,
you
igual es la
are
carta que
trying
le
to
queda
push for
ahí
game,
por
you should be
enseñar.
trying to make access code with this deck because it's the only thing that has attack. So it's good to link climb. It's also good to like make plays with SP or like push for damage or like basically anything because when you're stealing your monsters with Widow Anchor, like basically you can get to any attribute combination you want. So both of these are good. It's also like this is naturally Kagari, this is naturally Ray, so you definitely should play both of these in this deck. The 1 SP is good. It's just very generic. Like it comes up like Kagari, Widow Anchor, steal something, make SP. It's crazy value, especially if you've bricked on like multiple rays, which I actually had happen a couple times. I would brick on multiple rays, so I would link off my Striker Engine to SP to clear something, and then I knew that I had an array next turn for follow up in hand already. Also, linkage makes this card really good because you can like SP something and then go linkage into Shizuku to get back into engine, and this card's just solid. Oh, and Typhon. This
Ah,
card's
no lleva-
super busted. My,
no lleva
my
la
extra was
Selene, eso sí que me ha
actually,
sorprendido.
like, something that I was super happy with. Every single card in here won me at least one game, like by having it. It was the extra.
Bueno, se ha usado todo, no tenía espacio para
This helps you
Selene.
break the Snake Eye board.
Ni coña.
Because if you steal Flamberge and you don't want to link it off, you put it under this and it won't trigger. And it's also like you take the Flamberge, put this over it, detach Flamberge, bounce Desiree.
No llego a
and
entender
then
lo
you
de
do
las
Desiree,
cartas muertas, si
or
alguien me
no
puede
Flamberge
explicar.
can't activate.
Es que justo estaba
And you
haciendo
don't
una
really
cosa
need to, like,
y no me entra
even
bien.
if this remains
El factor es que no está jugando las Mulcharmy, chavales. Literalmente. Y lo que está haciendo con esto es que la gente que juega Trust, que la gente que le juega a Crossout o estrategias para sobrepasar las Mulcharmies, su versión es romper sin necesidad de activar cartas. Entonces, todas esas cartas que va a jugar la gente no sirven de nada. O sea, literalmente es que no sirven de nada. Ahí está el punto.
in your main monster
Y luego,
room,
lógicamente, que la gente no sabe que
and you
lleva un
can't
Blind
Widow Anchor
Second.
them or something, you
Ni Sky
usually win
Striker.
against Snake Eye because they actually just can't kill you. It's really funny. Like you can set up engage with Shizuku and then just pass on this with Shizuku and they won't kill you because you've depleted all their resources and then they lose on the follow up. I also had a game against Jib where I bricked and my only form of engine was stealing a monster, putting this over it, and just attacking him. So I mean, I wasn't expecting that, but it was good. I also summoned it against Clifton when he summoned a Harbinger on me in a Gran game, and this just turned off the Harbinger.
Acabo de
instantly.
streamear Typhoon Pavichos, el rival lo veo muy bueno, tío.
Side deck. So there's no more spells in my spell card deck. It's just 3 Ash, 3 Impulse.
Para Brandez, entiendo.
These are just the best hand traps in the format right now, I think, at least for this type of deck, because you're trying to trade for value. Impulse is really important because post side, if you like win game 1, they see what you're playing. Some people will send you first. Some people will try to go first still. It's really hard to guess. Like, you pretty much just have to guess. So, because of
Claro,
that,
es que suena
I
yendo
decided
primero
cards
segundo.
that could be good first and second. And Impulse is kind of the definition of that, because I can hold it in hand to be cards like Lightning Storm and Feather Duster, which you would side in against this deck. I mean, there's nothing much to say about this card. This
Es
is
que eso es lo que yo pensé siempre de las Impulse, tío. El factor de que las te las guardes en mano es el mejor counter. El mejor counter de Tenpai. Te tiran Reigeki, te tiran Lightning, te meten un Chundra o te hacen Sangenkaimen y es que se la niegas. Y es que se la niegas. Luego vemos la de Clis, no te preocupes.
Pretty much any matchup I would put this in. Like Fire King, I would put this in. Usually I'm like trying to hit Hollow Asmina with this if I'm going second, because it ensures Sylvia doesn't hit the board. So it's like kind of trading with their negates, which is the theme of this deck, not trying to trade with their engine and then maybe hand looping yourself with like impermanence. So it's much better in that aspect. Good against Tenpai, good against Vbomb. Like this, I just like don't understand why you wouldn't play this card. And then Ash is not for the combo decks. This was more just one of the last like side deck spots that I had for Rogue. Like I played against Labyrinth in top 4. This card was super broken. You can sometimes side this in against Snake Eye if you like. There's a lot of variation in Snake Eye decks right now, and you can kind of tell like which ones, which people like play cross out or like what different engines they have. So you can put this in against Snake Eye and try to hit them, like trade for value, make their end board weaker. But this really was just mainly for Rogue, in case, because my main deck is so heavily teched to beat the meta decks that it's a little bit weak against other things.
Le impulso va a subir de precio que no.
I played
No tiene
3
sentido.
Barrier and 3 Threatening Roar for 10-5. This deck's 10-5 matchup is like really rough if you don't side these cards, because you're basically
Debería hacerlo yo
flipping
también,
through wins game
ese
1,
side deck.
because if I get to make them start, I'll destroy them. If they get to make me start, I'll get destroyed. So I wanted to ensure that I wouldn't be like just getting sacked out of the tournament by Tenpai. So I just maxed out Threatening Roar, maxed out Barrier. I played against 3 Tenpai and I beat all of them because of Threatening Roar and Barrier. These are just unreal good. It's also funny when like they can even make you start. You can have a dead thrust in hand. They shifter you. Sure, thrust or pass, and they lose on the spot. So, for
Qué
sure,
buena.
I would play all of these again. Like honestly, there isn't a single card in my main side.
Lo peor es que no tengo rugidos, de esa necesito conseguir.
And then the last card was 3DDG. Just
Nah,
this is what you
mismo
can put in
razonamiento.
if you think you're gonna get sent first against Fire King. It's a bit of a gamble. Not just Fire King, like pretty much any generic matchup DDG can come in because of how good it is.
No,
in
está muy bien,
response to
tío.
cards like Cosmic Twin and Lightning Storm, and it's lingering, so it's pretty much.
Me gusta mucho la lista, tío. Se nota que se la ha currado un montón, tío. Se la ha currado un montón. Para que veáis, chavales, la gente, sobre todo la gente que solo raguea del juego, es fácil quejarse del precio de la Mulcharmy, es fácil quejarse de que si no juegas Sneak Eye no ganas, pero luego te viene alguien que te dice que la Mulcharmy es mala, con unos argumentos muy sólidos, y te juega un tier 2 y te llega hasta donde te llega, y luego el otro mazo que hemos comentado, que es una Centurión y llega primero, es que el juego está mucho más allá. El juego está mucho más allá. Y hay veces que la gente no se da cuenta. Déjame en los comentarios qué opinas de esta proeza, porque es realmente una proeza que Sky Striker haya quedado segundo en el ICS de Niagara. Y seguiremos comentando las checklists del torneo. Dale like, comenta, suscríbete y nos vemos hasta el siguiente vídeo.